Everyone has seen the different forecasts for IoT, everything from 21 billion by 2020 up to 100 billion by 2020. So there's quite a wide range. It's either going to be huge or it's going to be really huge. I'm Marc Naddell with MediaTek. I'm here to talk to developers and help them identify the right product to drive their success with their IoT device. And come check us out at MediaTekLabs.com and find the right solution for your next commercial project.
So good afternoon, and thanks for coming back to another interview with ReadWrite. Today we have Marc Naddell with MediaTek, who's going to be talking to us about what is a great chip that is behind everything that is IoT in the connected world. So Marc, give us a quick background on you.
Okay, my name is Marc Naddell, as Chris has said before. I'm the Vice President of MediaTek Labs. I'm based in San Jose. MediaTek is a leader in consumer electronic chipsets, a fabless semiconductor chipset provider, leader in several domains such as digital TV, smartphones, tablets, CDs, CD players, DVD players, Blu-ray, networking equipment like Wi-Fi, gateway, gaming controllers. So not really a consumer brand, but in the business-to-business world, especially with device makers, they're one of the world leaders. Over 11,000 employees located in 12 different countries, 27 offices, and it's great to be here working on IoT and wearables and talking to Chris.
Well, great. You're one of these guys behind the guys that people use but don't actually know that. Right. So let me ask you a question. You guys have been in the industry forever. You powered all these generations of electronic devices. When did you realize it was time to start moving into IoT? And what are the benefits that you think, with your experience, you bring to that?
So MediaTek is a high volume player in every industry that we serve. We're typically the high volume leader. For example, last year there were over 1.5 billion devices that shipped with MediaTek chipsets inside. So that being said, everyone has seen the different forecasts for IoT, everything from 21 billion by 2020 up to 100 billion by 2020. So there's quite a wide range. It's either going to be huge or it's going to be really huge. So as a volume leader, of course, that piques our interest. And several years ago, the company started to evaluate, how are we going to approach this huge opportunity, and how can we leverage the sustainable advantages of the company coming from consumer electronics and enabling all of our customers to create excellence with, with our chipsets inside. So with that in mind, almost 3 years ago now, 2013, we began scoping out what is this world going to look like. And within 2014, in September, we launched MediaTek Labs, which is a dedicated organization to create offerings and provide support and recruit partners to enable developers who are innovating and want to create commercial grade products to adopt our chipsets, do their proof of concepts, take that forward to using modules and doing their prototyping and piloting, and then using our supply chain of partners to commercialize their products.
We're seeing a lot of that, aren't we, now, with manufacturers who are starting to extend those services back and forward from the actual fabbing of these products, because as we go into this connected world, just slapping out a chip's not enough anymore, is it?
That's correct. You have to actually know which chip is the best fit, and not just the best fit for your proof of concept, but also something that will take you to success once you've commercialized it. And that's another aspect that MediaTek was able to lock onto is, how they became a volume leader is by integrating out a lot of discrete parts into, systems on a chip, SoC, solutions on a chip. And that integrated a lot of firmware and a lot of hardware capabilities into a single unit, which reduces size, reduces energy consumption, and also reduces cost. So leveraging that, combined with their expertise in delivering multimedia and consumer electronics technologies, multimedia players, high-res small displays, battery management systems, GNSS, SIM cards, SD cards, all of this, together into small packages is what allowed them to succeed so far in the existing domains. That's what they want to leverage going forward with their developers.
And that's really important because a lot of these companies, they spec out these fabulous chips and these fabulous solutions. But when it comes time to produce that in volume efficiently, it kind of falls down, doesn't it?
It does. And I think the energy consumption as well as the power, the energy consumption and the size is where a lot of wearables in particular fall down. Nobody wants to wear a giant, thing on their wrist that you have to recharge every day. They want something that is the right fit, whether it's a man's wrist or a woman's wrist, and something that you can recharge once a week or even less frequently.
Sure. So I have a Pebble and not an Apple Watch on my wrist for that very reason. Now, I'm fascinated about the scoping you did before you started the labs, because although we use this basket term IoT, it's really lots of little markets. And if you go into automotive or transportation or manufacturing, it looks very different. So how did you scope out this market and break it down?
So, of course, looking at the position of MediaTek, the starting point, what are those adjacent opportunities for the company? What chipsets did we have readily available to convert into an IoT-friendly platform? So there was a very popular feature phone chipset called the MT2502. And that was a small size. It integrated a ton of capabilities. Supports displays, multimedia player, compatible with GNSS for location, Wi-Fi compatible, integrated with Bluetooth, cellular connectivity, support a SIM card, support SD card, USB interfaces, power management, sensor hub, all these things in one chip. So that was an ideal starting point. So once we identified that as our point of entry, we then started working with one of our partners called Seed Studios that makes HDKs. And they made the first HDK for us, which we launched in September of 2014. Along with an SDK we created. And the SDK allows a developer to use Arduino, which was a very popular maker programming format, right? So through Arduino, you can access all these libraries and pull down, the modules you need for your particular project. And that became a very successful first offering for us. And then as we started to get feedback from developers and seeing where market was sort of splitting out per your suggestion that it is highly fragmented, we noticed that a lot of developers weren't needing a display and they weren't needing cellular connectivity and they weren't needing controls. They were trying to just wirelessly connect some indoor product through Wi-Fi. So that's why we picked one of our other chipsets, the 7681, and we created a module for the 7681 that can be easily incorporated into a project. It's for very simple, low cost, small size. Things like you might think of a smart door lock, a smart power outlet, a smart appliance without a display of some kind. A smart lamp would be another good example, right? A smart light bulb. So any of those kinds of things that can be easily, configured through your Wi-Fi portal and controlled through your smartphone or a wearable. And so we introduced that. And that was introduced, let's see, it was early 2015, second quarter 2015. And then by the end of the year, we'd introduced a third product called Linkit Smart 7688 Duo. And that was an open web runtime environment and also Arduino. That's why we call it Duo. So you can go either way with that. And it's a high performance, small size chipset that's ideal for products that need high data management, that need a display. It could be a robot, it could be a webcam, it can be a wireless speakers, something a bit more interactive with the user, but also processing and managing a lot of data, multimedia data, video, audio data. So, and now this year, in the end of first quarter, we announced what you should look for from your manufacturing partner is a good fit between, what segment you're targeting to manufacture for, whether it's healthcare or it's fitness, or it's office equipment, or it's industrial, agriculture. You know, what is the intended destination market? And does your manufacturer create those kind of products in general? Because you don't want them learning on your dollar.
Really
yeah, you don't want them learning on your dollar. You want someone who's done this hundreds of times, knows the regulations, knows how to package it, you know, knows how to make, you know, the right, you know, knows the right manufacturing processes, the industrial or consumer environmental requirements, any regulations, et cetera, et cetera. IoT is the connectivity of anything to anything else through the internet.
That's great.
So IP channels, you know, whether it's a pot holder, you know, for plants, or it's a phone, or it's a